are there any unexpected partnerships that have been valuable? Yeah, in your experience.
So in terms of partnership, last year I kind of spearheaded the book drive with a local businesswoman. There are a lot of women who I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot of women, business women. I find that women are very happy to support in some way or the other, in various different ways. And I knew somebody who had probably a wider network than me and a place where books could be dropped off. And so last year I partnered with her. So she shared on her socials as well as I shared on my socials. And so together we were able to collect 400 books in a span of 2 weeks that way. There are other schools, private schools that you can approach to see whether they can do a book drive, or if like what we call an IB school, they tend to have a community service component for the older children. See if you can find a way for one of their children or that program to carry out a book drive for you. So those are very good partnerships to try and have. But then you can also approach local businesses, banks. You could maybe even collaborate with the local media there. And then make their station a drop-off point. Churches may not be able to have books per se, children's books per se amongst them, but there's worth church and mosques. Ask any community organization that's near you that aligns with your passion for doing something good for children. And you tend to find that people will respond to it.
Thank you. How about you, Isaac? So have you done any partnerships, even partnerships that we may not have thought of in doing your own drives?
So Papa has talked about the traditional partnership. I think in our first year, most of our partners, I think we worked with 2 partners in the US. We got them via Instagram. So what we do is we go to social media and search, like we enter like a keyword to see organizations or projects that are doing similar things in education, supplying materials to schools and all of that. So we reach out to them. So normally we have to send our message. Our message is not about we are giving exercise book to learners to do this and that. No. Our message is that we are trying to create a space to give learners an opportunity to express their thoughts. We want to put it in a way, we want to showcase the value, we want to make sure that it aligns with what they are doing. Not just to say that we are giving exercise book and all of that. So you realize that we do not give exercise book. We establish book banks in community schools. And these book banks are what is furnishing the learners with the exercise book. So we are not doing like a one-time donation, all of that. So we reach out to this. So we can reach out, the team will do we sit down, do a lot of research into this, all these organizations, go to their social media. Because we realize that when we send them emails, it takes time. But when we go to their social media page, I think the communication manager or the social media manager responds earlier on time and all of that. So we reach out to them. So you can reach out to, I think those I reached out to about 20 organizations, and then 2 responded back that, yeah, they would share with their board and then let us know how many SIs we will give out of the targets that we are seeking to raise. And that is how we partner with all those organizations. And we keep on reaching out to them, giving them impact stories of what the SIs is doing and all of that, just to keep them updated and keep them interested in coming back and supporting us all of that.
Okay, something you said was really strong. Being able to craft your message so that the potential partner you want to approach, what you're saying will resonate with them. So if you want to, let's say, partner with a barbing salon, for instance, for them to collect books, you have to be able to get the business owner running the business to understand, okay, what is the impact, even for his own business or his or her own business, the impact of books for that, and you also kind of talked about our next point, which is just social media. So we'll come back to that. Charles, what about you? What's been your experience with partnerships? I know you have a lot of friends who donate to you. So what kind of experiences have you had with partnering with people to run your own drives?
I think a few have been mentioned. One is to do with emails. My friend has just shared that we share a lot of emails. I keep on sharing on my status to look for partners. The best was once we were able to partner with our National Library. I was trying to look for book aid, but they referred me to the National Library and were able to come through. So most of our partnership is mostly connected by friends of friends. Mostly ours is just friends. We just keep on sharing on our status, sharing on our social media, and mostly that has worked for us. We have tried knocking doors. The other one was a publisher. Yeah, we keep on writing to publishers. And the newest that you have heard is a bookshop. We partnered with a bookshop whereby they're able to, instead of selling a book that is supposed to go for like 100 shillings, they sell it less on a discounted price for us. So that ensures you're able to get extra books for less money. So that has been our latest development in terms of partnership. So, but what I've heard today about international schools, thank you. That is a brilliant idea. I think I'll now focus on international schools and a number of other schools that I know around. But that was brilliant.
So if you're going to go to international schools, there's two key times that they leave. So especially expatriate communities, they will leave June and they leave December. So make sure that you start communicating to them around April so that the PTO, the Parent Teacher Association, can own the project for you. And so because they're clearing out, especially USAID, I'm sorry, USAID is leaving countries. So here's a tip. They need to clear house because they won't have the container space. So contact your international school where there are expat children. They'll be leaving in June and want to clear their bookshelves and everything before they leave. So top tip.
Good job. Thank you for that idea. I love this.
Okay. So Charles, you said something really practical about approaching friends. So even as catalysts in sports, sometimes when you are talking about book drives, people don't think you are talking to them. But if you're approaching your friend or a family member, you know, someone personal in your network, even as catalyst, approaching as many people as possible. So if every catalyst is approaching one person they know personally, I think there's a likelihood of success in collecting books. So to the next question now, social media. We cannot leave out social media when we're doing campaigns because I mean we're in the digital age. So I'll start with Isaac because he already started this discussion. How do we utilize social media to reach our wider audiences? And I'm talking even WhatsApp as well, Instagram. Isaac mentioned Instagram. I know Isaac also is also big on LinkedIn. Are there any recommended social media channels or even social media accounts who are successfully doing drives or campaigns that we can look at and, you know, emulate and think about what they're doing that is making them so successful? And then any platforms you use that have been hugely or that you've had huge success on, you can recommend. So maybe you can try that. And then even how you craft the message in your on those channels too. So Isaac, social media, teach us.
Okay, so with social media, I think the biggest one that has really worked for my team is WhatsApp. We leverage on WhatsApp a lot. WhatsApp works well for the cash fundraising. Yeah, I mentioned Instagram, which is for like in-kind donation where we meet out organization, but WhatsApp is like our biggest platform that we use for fundraising for our book drive. Now, talking about WhatsApp, so one thing that we have realized is that you see, when we are doing this, no, before you even start talking about you doing your fundraising, with social media and all of that, you have this to know that you're a catalyst. Nobody in your community, they know you're a teacher, and they know you're a teacher. You're really a teacher for free, you're a teacher for, but they don't know that you also volunteer with every sport, and this is what you are doing. So you see, before you do all of this, you need to make sure that you keep on your social media platform, on your WhatsApp, you keep on sharing about what you are doing, all the great activity that is going on, how you are supporting your learning, so that when the time comes and you want to do your book drive, your friends don't get surprised. Like, are you a scam? Like, when did you start raising exercise book, or when did you start doing book drive? Like, they don't get surprised, you see, because the thing is, people, you think that when it comes to this book drive, it's the rich who give. No, I always say that givers are those who give. It's not about the income bracket and all of that. And people give to you when they like you and they are interested in what you are doing. That is the thing. So before you even talk about social media, you have to first look at how you are building your brand, your digital footprint on social media, and all of that. You can't be like, oh, me, I'm just hiding in Pekasa, I'm introvert, I don't do this and that and this. And then when it's time to do book idea, you go and say, oh, hello, hi. No, they'll be confused. You you end up confusing people. You understand? So before you talk about social media, please make sure that people know what you are doing before you go to them to say that, can you support us with this and all of that. So WhatsApp works well for us. And when it comes to WhatsApp, we do not share generic message. So we are raising a no, we don't do that. So the team sit down, we craft a message, and each team member has to customize the message based on who they are sending it to. So I always tell my team, don't share on your status until we are done sharing with all our 10,000 contacts. Don't put it on your status. Let's share with people. DM them. Hi, Akofa, this and this. You know the kind of relationship you have with Akofa. Share with Akofa based on what you have with them. Share with Fad. Hi, Fad, we are doing this and this. You know. Then you share with all your content, all your contacts. Be shameless. Share with your contacts. After sharing with them, before you go to status, because trust me, most of the time people think that, oh, we are doing book drive, they put on their status every day, they put on their status. See, nobody makes, see, out of the 1,000 people who watch your status, like 2 of them who click on the link or even make an attempt to see if there is a phone number to donate to, or maybe how they're going to. They don't, they just watch it and then pass to the next status, to the next status. Because there's a lot going on status. But if you send them a personal message, if you craft the message and send it to their DM, you mention their name. Hi, Akofa. Hi, Fat. People feel like, is this special? Wow, this is like, this person has thought about me. Like, hi, like, it's just like, sometimes I feel like my friend is selling a car and they reach out to me. I'm like, oh God, you've reached out to me. This car is worth 50,000. You think I can buy? Like, I feel so, I feel so, like, yeah, you see. So when you send it to people and you customize it, like, you put their name inside and then you, something that you all can relate to, it actually works faster. And that way they also can recommend you to someone else, or even share with someone, say, oh, okay, this my friend is doing this and that. And I think you can support, check them out and all of that. So that is how we go about using WhatsApp to raise most of our books. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Isaac. That's very powerful. Akofa, what about you? What's been your experience with social media? Do you use social media for your book drive campaigns, and any lessons you want to share with us?
Yeah, I agree with much of what Isaac says. You've got to personalize it. That's what us digital marketers, comms specialists will say. Personalized content or messages always do better. People open them, they engage with it better. So, and WhatsApp really works. In Ghana, WhatsApp is probably the top social media channel. But what's really important is that you've got to make the graphic, the post, anything that you do shareable. It's got to be something that people want to say, oh yeah, and forward on and forward on and forward on, because it looks attractive. It's got the information within the flyer, so that you don't have so many people, it's going to move like 10 people away from you. You want them to be, you want that stranger to have all the details and drop it off at this cafe for me. So you've just got to think about is it an attractive thing? Is it very clear? Have a good picture. So whether that's Instagram, Facebook, or WhatsApp, is it engaging? Can I clearly tell without reading any text what this could actually be about? And so shareable content will help you get the word out. We also use Facebook. But Facebook, on the fact that I use expat groups, so major groups. So look for parents group, mummy and baby groups, those kinds of things on Facebook. They're there. And so that is the target. Think of the types of books you want. You want children's books. Who has children's books? People of a certain socioeconomic background. And so target them. Where do they go? Look for those groups. There's one everywhere. So it could be a Sunday school group, or it could be mummies and babies group, or it could be a play group somewhere, or it could be, I use the expat group. And then I collaborate with businesses where they want the customers to come through anyway. So drop off your book at this cafe, hoping that they might buy a coffee while they're there or something. And it's not at my house, because I don't want people coming to my home. So think about all those kinds of things when you're doing your book drives. But because you want it to be shareable and you want it to get the word out there, so that hopefully it's not just if you think about the nucleus of fundraising, it's not just your core people, it goes beyond that. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. Sorry, I just realized my camera isn't working. Charles, what's been your own experience with social media?
Yeah, my social media has been very impactful. I think one time I shared a photo of a video of our place. How it was looking, the floor wasn't done very well. And someone just commented, how come at this era children are studying on the ground without a plaster and stuff? So the girl was like so touched. A friend of mine on Facebook, so many years back, and he decided to do like put some slabs on the floor. And another one thought about books. He donated some books, personal books. So for me, social media has been very strong. Every month I put a poster. And also giving feedback on last month impact. These books have gone to this number of students, is the impact, target is this month, how have we gone the target? So people get to see and they get to be interested in what we're doing. I think the last thing that has really most for us is just keep on consistency. We never forget to put any poster or updates. If you've given books to a school, you take a photo of the books donated, and people can see the books which are donated last month have gone to this particular group of school, and that helps a lot to give credibility for social media. Another one is for social media, we're trying to use Instagram, YouTube, we're able to give testimonies on how the impact of the books have been. So that is what has been able to not really convince, but be able to usher people to come in to maybe donate books or come and visit us and come and see our place and be able to see what they can do. I remember there's one time I put some impact, and my landlord decided to be able to donate some tables and some chairs for the students. So that has really worked for us. Social media is the way forward for us for now. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so we'll round up with fundraising before we open it for questions. So, sometimes when you're doing book drives, people think, oh, I don't have books, so this doesn't concern me. But another way for us to craft our messaging can be, if you don't have books, you can donate money. So do you have any advice or tips in terms of fundraising? So in our sports, how can they engage people how can they fundraise? How can they engage people to donate instead of thinking that the book drive doesn't apply to them because they don't have any books to donate? Like what tips would you share regarding that so that we don't close that option? I'll start with Isaac. I know Isaac has done fundraising for the notebooks.
Yeah, so with fundraising, I think so when it comes to reading books, I think the first thing is to identify what kind of books you want to raise the funds for. So I always say, when I'm asked to talk about book drive, I said I don't do book drive. I do for exercise, because for exercise it's direct. You know how much it costs and then how much you are raising. But when it comes to reading books, there are different books and you confuse and many. So the sport has decided that, okay, they want to get like 20 or 30 copies of Farming Adventure for their sports. And this is what they are raising the funds for. So the first has to identify that this is the books that they are raising. This is the amount of money that we need for each book. And it's easier. So when you tell people that, so one thing about marketing is you don't tell people buy two for 50 cedis. Sometimes the brains, but I like people that buy two for 10 cedis. It's easier to divide for 5 cedis. Yeah. So you are so much sure that you know how much one book costs, and you tell them, okay, so we are trying to get 30 copies of this book for our sport, and you can give as little as this amount of money to get one book for one learner. And the person will just say, okay, I want to support 2 learners, I want to support 3 learners, I want to support 4 learners. That is how you start. Now, so also you have to use social just and then talk about social media. So for us, we have like we have social media platforms. So we have platform on Instagram, LinkedIn, and also we have a business account for WhatsApp. So our Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, we have Facebook too. Don't know why I always forget about Facebook. So we have Facebook too, and we are always like every week, we are making posts about what we are doing. We are telling people this is what we are doing, this is an update, like giving people update about what is going on, so that they know that you are active, they know that this is what you are doing. You have to position what you are doing in the minds of these people every other day, every other time. So when you reach out to them, it's easier for them to sit down and make a decision whether they want to donate or not. Yeah. So the first thing is to identify what you want to raise the money for. Second one is to know how much that product costs. The third one, you reach out to them and let them know that one of this will cost this. If you support, you can support one learner with this amount of money. Um, and then they decided they want to support with 1, 2, 3, or 10, or etc. You may not even, what you may not even know is that these people may have access to how they can get those books for you in bulk. So somebody can just say, okay, let me just, I know someone who can give you 50 copies of that Kwami's Adventure, or for flowers, or Lulu Go to School, or all of that. Yeah, so that is that's the tip that I can give from you. Yeah, there's a lots of time.
Thank you. Akofa, so the international schools, the groups that you engage, do they also raise funds apart from collecting books?
No, they don't. You know, a lot of schools, they're just like any regular donors. If people know about grants and applying, they tend not to like to give money. And the book drives is more focused as a children's activity, if that makes sense, as a student activity too. So just as we are community-led in EduSpots, they mobilize their community. So recently I had a donation from the French school. And the French school every single year, apparently, I did not know this. It was a nice gift to me because a friend knew I was collecting books and toys at the time. So they every year at Christmas time, they do an appeal in their community for books, clothes, everything like that. Actually, funnily enough, I have some of the clothes in front of me now. We don't need clothes. So what we will do instead, of course, we've got the books, and they've given us approximately 500 books, majority English, but also some French books. So what we will do is that we don't need the clothes. I have their permission to then sell the clothes. And then from that money, I can use that to buy more books if I need to, for example. So that's how typically with international schools, they don't give money. They can't. And you want to encourage them to make it a student-led activity. You will get a lot more what we call buy-in. You'll get them agreeing to that a lot more. If it's a parent-teacher association activity or a student-led activity. That's typically how I go about that. And then And then with the things that I don't need that they collect anyway, like the clothes, I can sell that in the markets, and the money I can collect from that I can use to top up. So that's how we go about it.
Awesome. Charles, what about you? Do you raise funds?
Yeah, we can use our website, that is PayPal, for guys in America and guys who are able to do the PayPal donations online. We also try to not really get money as such. We just tell people exactly what my other facilitator said. We just tell people about the books that we require, and then they're able to buy them for us. And every month, we're able to share which book we need and how much it costs, and then they're able to send the money for that. But mostly money doesn't come, we don't receive money as much, but as comparing to people buying the books and donating, it works best for us. Like even last year, I think November, someone just decided, they were closing their school. They had closed their school, so they were like, what can I do with all these books? So they just brought all the textbooks, and it was very ideal because that is what you give out to all the schools that you have, like 5-6 schools that you have. So mostly it's not really money. We don't really push for money, but we just look for, tell them what they can buy, and then they support to buy that. That has worked for us. And even the PayPal, we're trying to look for friends who can even give, like, even if it's $5 or $10, used to use our account, but costing of the account to send money to where the money is very expensive. But PayPal became our easiest way to be able to ask friends on social media or wherever they are. It's easy for us to generate donations online cash-wise using this platform of PayPal. So it was worked for us for the past.
Awesome. Thank you. So let's take questions. I think we have one question. So any one of the guests can answer this. Please, driving for book drive campaign, is it solely on storybooks? Is it solely for storybooks?
Not at all. Textbooks, so fiction and non-fiction. I think any book that gives the children an opportunity to read is typically good and give them imagination. We don't all like the same things, right? Some people like fiction, some people like non-fiction. So we have we accept pretty much everything aside from adult books and certain topics.
Thank you. If you have any questions, you could either put it in the comment or raise your hand before we hand over to Fad. Or if you want to contribute from your own experience with running book drives. I know Lawrence has some experience with that. Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, Lawrence.
I don't know if Lawrence is still in the room. Cynthia too, I think has ever organized this or do,
Yeah, so if you want to contribute or emphasize some of the points that we already made, please feel free to.
Yes. So, Sfarida, I think I have a question.
Okay.
Our speakers have done amazingly well, presenting on their initiative and then how then we can practicalize these book drives in our communities. But then there's this element of challenge. Is it to say that organizing a book drive doesn't come with a challenge, right? And if so, how can we curb some of these challenges as and when they arise?
Can I answer that one?
Yeah, Charles, you can take it.
Yeah, I think organizing a book club is the most challenging experience because you're going to be rejected. You're going to be find quite a number of people don't like what you're doing. So you send emails, they bounce back. There's no communication. You show up, they be like, they don't even recognize you sent an email. And book drives are the hardest. But the funniest and the most enjoyable thing is when you receive the books, even if it's 10 or 5 or 6. That really gives you a lot of joy. You see, like the effort you have put, it motivates you to try again and again and again. That's what has kept us, by the way. If we gave up like 10 years ago, we'd not have like books right now. And the next one is book drives are the easiest if you get the right contact and people are passionate in what you're doing. Like I remember there's a time we were doing a team building somewhere, and when it was a nation community, and you were like, by the way, so you just share what you do. So they gave us a microphone and they're like, hello, we're Charles. We also do team building. We've been doing the team building, but you also collect books in our library. And funny enough, they were like, next time we come for the team building, they'll give us book, and they definitely kept their word. So sometimes just sharing yourself out and just expecting, like casting a net. Whoever listens, whoever comes through is okay. But the best is if you're able to get the right person that is able to appreciate what you're doing. So that's always been our challenge. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And also, I think the challenge that comes with book, right? So, like I mentioned when we started the conversation, like you just have to know that, and it's not about you. You have to focus on the impact, not you per se. Because if you focus on you, that is where the challenge becomes very tiring. Like you want to give up. But if you focus on the impact, you focus on the learners, you focus on the sparks that you are raising the books for, it makes it easier for you. So the impact becomes like your inspiring or motivational factor. So when you go here and they reject you, you don't take it personal. You tell the person, yeah, today you don't have, but tomorrow, next year I'll come back again. Next year you go back to that person. If you reject you, you go back to that person again because it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. It's about the learners or the sparks or the students you are trying to raise business for. Yeah. Thank you.
I also want to say another challenge is the logistics. You know, some people don't mind giving, but then you have to go collect it. So just, you know, think about where the drop-off point is, where the collection point is. And so I have a lot of books, like I said, from the French school. How am I going to get it down to this, you know, to the school? So things like that. So just something to think about. You want to get, you know, thousands of books, but in terms of storage, transportation, just, you know, other people, they won't necessarily want to go and drop it off at your spot. So you've got just something to factor in.
Thank you, Akofa. If we don't have any other questions, I'll hand over to Fad too.
Right, thank you very much. But Farid, I wasn't done with my questions. Anyway,
Oh, you have more. Please go ahead.
I think I have one more question, right? And then I can take over. Yeah, so I think in Isaac's submission, I got this understanding that book drives are often organized as a one-off event, right? So the next year again. And these our sports should I say need books always, or these are spaces where books should always be trooping in and out. And so my question is, how then do we make book drives a continuous endeavor, right? Not to say it's a one-off event and then we wait till the next year again, then we organize another one.
Okay, so I did say at the one-off event, I will just mention that you go to somebody and they don't have, next year you go back to them. It's not like you do it next year, but you want to build a pipeline of donors. Okay, so and that is why it's important that you don't take it personal. When you go to someone who don't give you, the next time you block the person, you make sure that you are able to reach out to everybody. So you see that people will start giving at their own pace and their own time. So every other time you have books coming in. So like I Papa mentioned, sometimes the problem is the logistics because somebody in another community would want to give for the book drive, but where the person is, you just think about it and how you go, like book meaning all the money, the manual, all of those things. Yeah, so people, you want to build a pipeline and make sure that you reach out to everybody and anybody that you know. They are going to be giving at their own pace. They are going to be giving at their own time. So every other time you are. So I encourage our Catalyse to make use of their research and then digital skills more, and also make use of their personal relationship as well. So every it's something that you are supposed to be passionate about, something that you are supposed to be doing weekly, monthly. You are making sure that at least every month you are sending out messages to at least 5 people, or let's say it's 2 people every week. That will really make sure that you are building a pipeline of donors so that every other time there will be books coming through your spot.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you very much. And I think essentially, Akofa, would you want to add something?
I would add that to keep the flow and the interest, one of the things I haven't done yet, but I'm getting ready to do, will be to invite local authors. Local authors also want to promote their books, and so invite them to your spot. And do a story time or something like that. They tend to want to give away 10 books, the publisher, because they want to promote it and or give an offer to different people. So there was a kind of new ways of getting books in and reading interest built up in between the major book drives. So then you have a calendar of events where books and reading, because publishers like that as well. Remember, publishers need your audience as much as you need them. So it's not just about, and for a lot of kids, especially who aren't used to the power of books, I'm big on storytelling, especially for the younger children. It brings them alive if they meet a real author. That inspires them. So have a series where once a term, once a quarter, you bring in a local author. Like Charles said, we have our own authors now. We're not short of authors. Elizabeth Irene Beatty, fantastic example of someone who writes children's books. And her first book, I know it has the number 12 in it, was set in Achmota. So how realistic and authentic is that going to be for our JHS level kids? So I plan to invite her, saw her last week, plan to invite her to the spot and having some real life author there. And she can push out or at least promote her books, good photo opportunity, happy publisher, happy me. So those are ways you can keep the interest, and it opens up your book drive and what you're trying to do to a whole new audience, because then her audience will get to see what we're potentially doing and potentially support. So like Isaac said, it's like creating a pipeline. So the things that the seeds that you're sowing today, hopefully will blossom as time goes on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think essentially it boils down to the fact that we need to strengthen partnership, as Charles mentioned earlier. And yeah, it's been a wonderful time with you, and I've really enjoyed this session particularly, and I'm sure Catalyse have also, taken lots of, should I say, learnings from here, right, and would implement it when executing the Sport League Challenge for this month, which is on organizing a book drive. And to reiterate again, the least number of books Catalyse or Sports are supposed to put together or collect is 100, right? And so let's make this competitive. Let's make it interesting as well, right? So at this point, I'll say a very big thank you to Akofa, Isaac, and Charles, and Farida as well for chairing this session seamlessly smooth. Right, that's my word. And for everyone that made time to join, it's a very big thank you goes to all of you as well, right? And not all the time I see Catalyse are the heroes of what we do at EduSport, and keep on pushing, keep on stoking the fire in your various communities.